Tom Wilkinson and Bring Him Home from Les Miserables. It's time for the news now, but don't go anywhere because I shall see you afterwards with lots more show tunes, including some more from Les Mis. And don't forget, history has its eyes on you. I'm going to be taking a look at some of the most loved historical musicals that have taught us so much about events that happened before our time. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Nick Qureshi. Nearly 2,000 dock workers at the port of Felixstowe are striking in a dispute over pay. The walkout by members of the Unite union will last 8 days, their first strike in more than 30 years. The port has described its latest pay offer to dockers as fair. Miles Hubbard from Unite said the strike was a last resort.
We know that this company has the financial resources many times over to settle this pay claim to everybody's satisfaction. And all we ask is that we get back round the table, as Unite has always been open to, and reach a negotiated settlement so all these folks can go back to work.
Supporters of President Putin have blamed Ukraine for a car bomb that killed the daughter of a prominent Russian nationalist. Daria Dugina, who shared her father's views on creating a new Russian empire, died at the scene in Moscow. It emerged officers from the Metropolitan Police had contact with a student nurse on the day she was reported missing last month. The Met says it didn't know Awami Davis was a missing person at the time. The case has been referred to the Independent Office for Police Conduct. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has warned that millions of people will face destitution unless the UK government provides more support to help pay surging energy bills. Every household is due to get a £400 rebate this winter, with the most vulnerable in line for £1,200. The Business Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, has promised more support is on its way. Ivor McKee, a Scottish Government business minister, says the situation is unsustainable.
What we're calling for immediately for the UK government is to not to implement the price cap increase that's imminent, and also, very importantly, to put in place a price cap for small and medium-sized businesses. Because I spoke to businesses, I was in Falkirk during the week and in Livingston, talking to businesses that are seeing their energy bills going from £10,000 to £45,000. It's unsustainable.
The exam board Pearson has apologised because some BTEC students still haven't received their exam results 4 days after they were due to be released. Pearson said a very small percentage of students were affected. James Ordaff has missed out on his place at a university.
It's just been 3 days of just waiting and waiting. But the main issue was I was trying to get into the University of Sheffield through clearing. And when I spoke to them, they said there was absolutely nothing they could do until I got my results. And then clearing closed, so I completely missed out on my opportunity to get into that uni.
The Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says his team should be awarded all 3 points if their Premier League match against Manchester United tomorrow is postponed because of fan protests. A game between the two sides had to be rearranged in May last year after home supporters broke into Old Trafford to demonstrate against the ownership of the club. BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 2.
BBC Radio 2.
Let's check the travel this Sunday afternoon. Here's Orna.
Nick, thank you very much. And first, North Ayrshire, Largs to Skelmley and the A78, that's Shore Road. Traffic is taking it in turns because of some temporary lights. They've been set up after the road reopened. It was all following an accident which happened. Glasgow queues on the M8, and that's on the westbound side at 23 at Ibrox. There was an accident on the exit Slip Road. And Berwick upon Tweed, the A1 closed in both directions at East Ord, and that's south of the A698. It's after an accident which happened on the southbound side. The A189 is closed in Northumberland in both directions at Blythe roundabout. It's through to the A192 at the Three Horseshoes roundabout. Investigation works underway now. The M53 has eased, but the M6 is looking slow around Lancashire now at junction 31 at Samlesbury northbound. Holiday traffic queues there making their way north up towards the Lake District, and then slow around Stoke-on-Trent, junction 15 north and southbound on the M6. The M1 at Leicestershire, both directions were blocked between 21 at the M6 M69 at Leicester and 20 at Lutterworth. That was after an accident. Oxfordshire and south of Farringdon, the A420 has reopened now near Furnham Road. The M25 queue's still there, mainly around the M4 at junction 15, both directions, clockwise and anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise queues heading towards the Dartford Tunnel are still there, and extra traffic again because no Woolwich ferry operating. That means extra traffic around, and trains are still disrupted following yesterday's strike action.
Listen live on the BBC Sounds app.